Okay, I'm going to go ahead and introduce week 3 to you, which is June the 9th through June the 15th. We're going to be studying daily routine and personal care and needs, vocabulary, and comparatives and superlatives. So for this week, you're going to want to study pages 152 to 165 and 172 to 173 in your book. You're going to want to review pages 114 to 142, pages 24, 27 through 28, 30, 59, 62, 64, 67, 84, and 87. After completing this week's assignments, you should be able to describe your daily routine and habits as well as be able to express your personal care needs. You should also be able to use Chapter 4 vocabulary and pronunciation rules to answer the following questions. ¿Qué te gusta hacer en tu tiempo libre? ¿Qué haces con tu mejor amigo o amiga? ¿Te gusta bailar en una discoteca? ¿Qué haces con tu familia en el verano? ¿Cómo es tu familia? In the target language with native or near native pronunciation. For this week's test, students should be able to identify and know how to use direct objects and direct object pronouns. You guys should also be able to identify and use vocabulary to discuss where you like to go and what you like to do in your free time, as well as be able to invite others to participate in pastime activities. You should also be able to identify and use demonstrative adjectives and pronouns. You should be able to identify and distinguish between and use the verb saber and conocer to express to others what you know and what you don't know. After completing this week's assignments, you should be able to compare objects and people as well as be able to describe people or things using superlatives. You should also be able to use Chapter 4 vocabulary to write a paragraph about your families. In this paragraph, you should be able to relate the names of at least 4 family members, their ages, the relation of each person to you guys, a few activities that each family member does in his or her free time, and a few activities that you and this family member do together. As always, you should use adjectives, adjective agreement rules, article-noun agreement rules, and regular present tense verbs to write this paragraph. You should also be able to relate basic information about Costa Rica's history, economy, and geography and people. This week's assignments address student learning outcomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The assignments are due on the 13th. You want to start this week like all others by looking at your instructor-made videos. There's videos on vocabulary, and I think on superlatives. After you've watched each video, then you'll go back out here, click on the class participation form, click on the thread, hit reply, and post any questions or concerns you have about material covered in the class. If you have none, then post that you have no questions. This is an assignment. You do get a grade for it, so you need to make sure that you post something. Oral Dialogue 1 preparation. This week you're critiquing a fellow classmate's script, so you're going to see a little thing like this. This is Oral Dialogue 1. It'll actually be right here. It's just in one of the weeks above because we haven't done this yet. I'm doing the video in advance. But when you get to this week, you'll click on it and you'll see someone else's oral dialogue script and you'll critique it. You'll give them feedback. There'll be a rubric that you can use to give them feedback as well as a space where you can give some written feedback, as well as I'll go through and give you feedback too. For writing assignment 1, you're doing the same thing. You'll see this down here as well. You'll click on it. You'll see someone else's writing and you're going to give them feedback as well as I will give you feedback. You're also going to take test 2 this week, which is on the second half of chapter 4. So if you open up test 2, the first says, listen carefully to each sentence and identify the direct object. Choose the sentence that correctly replaces the direct object with a pronoun. So you'll listen to this. It'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, then you'll decide which of these statements restates the statement you heard for number 1 using the direct objects correctly. Okay, then here, sabes identificar el objeto directo. Your roommate needs to write a paper for a composition class and finds that her writing is very repetitive. Show her how to identify the direct objects in a sentence so she can replace them with pronouns. So you'll read each of the sentences below and decide which of these words is the direct object. Here, you're going to complete the following sentences with the correct direct object pronoun. You're going to identify the direct object again, but this time you're going to plug in the pronoun into the spaces provided. Here's vocabulary. A group of friends are discussing the activities they do in their free time. Complete each sentence with an appropriate word from the word bank. Be sure to use each word only once. So read the statements below. Pick a word from the word bank to best complete them. Here you're looking at demonstratives. Your classmate wrote some sentences in Spanish to practice the demonstrative adjectives. However, he can't remember the gender of his nouns. Help him by selecting the demonstrative adjective that correctly completes each question or statement. So you'll read through the statement and plug in the correct demonstrative adjective. Saber and conocer, complete the sentences with the correct form of either saber or conocer. Be sure to make any necessary changes to the verb form. So you'll read through this and plug in the correct version of saber and conocer. And if you'll notice, a lot of the information that's on here is information we're covering this week. So do not do the test until you've completed the activities for the week. Okay, so what else do you have to do? You also have a cultural assignment. So you'll open this up. There are transcripts in English, and there are 4 videos on Costa Rica. If you open up the videos and you click on the closed caption button, you can put on the English closed caption so that you'll be speaking. You'll hear speaking in Spanish, but you'll see the captions in English. Then when you're ready, you hit Attempt Quiz Now. And then you'll see that there are various true, false statements, and it's some fill in the blank, and you answer them based upon what you've seen in the video. Okay, then you have you have assignment 5. You're going to visit My Language Labs. If you click on this link here and you sign it, it'll take you to My Language Labs. You'll click on the alarm clock for the 13th, and you need to complete these activities that are on the calendar. So it'll look something like this. Something like this. You'll go to the course calendar, and then you'll wait for you'll click on the 13th of June. The assignments will pop up in the middle. Open up each one, do what it says, hit finish and submit for grading, and I think it will give you the option to try again. You can try again as many times as you would like before the due date, but if you're doing it more than 3 times, I suggest reaching out to me. I think that's everything you have to do for a week.